I had a dream about riding a dirt bike for a living. Down the road I did, I had it all, pumped on my life. Had everything, man. I was riding a bike for a living. Then drugs and alcohol started to become number one. Man, I slowly lost it all. Lost everything. Wanted to die. Had nothing to my name, man. I ended up in rehab. Literally with nothing. T-shirt and a skateboard, man. Nothing at all. Lost it all. Started making sobriety number one and I got it all back. No lie. Got everything back with a smile on my face, you guys. Anyone can do it. Anyone can do it all. Here it is, talking sobriety. Let's do this.
I'm addicted to the drugs, boost the game. I'm addicted. Lost focus, lost my aim. I'm addicted. Living life out of range. I'm addicted. I'm addicted. I'm addicted to the drugs, boost the game. I'm addicted. Lost focus, lost my aim. I'm addicted. Living life out of range. I'm addicted. I'm addicted.
We're now listening to Talking Sobriety with your host, Colin Morrison.
This is it.
Dude,
This is it, Russ.
we're doing it.
And you know what? Now you
Shit.
guys can see. Okay,
Check
and
us out.
let's break it down for the people listening to us on the podcast. We are in my new podcast studio. It's
Dude,
pretty
we're
much
official.
95%
We're
done.
official.
It is official. How do you feel in here?
Dude, I feel legit. They
It's
got a
like
camera looking at us.
it's a different deal. So people in the podcast world, we're videoing this now because we're gonna start our YouTube channel. That's how this started. Talking
Right.
sobriety
Yeah, it did.
with Colin Morrison on YouTube because
did.
that's like, I could do that. And then I started doing it, and then I talked to you, and we got a hold of Johnny Jennings, and
Yeah.
he wanted to like throw us some money, and he's like, dude, I want you guys to like do something with this, and we brought it up.
Yep.
Let's do a podcast, and then
And we did it.
that's how that started.
Yeah.
And now I moved into my house, and it has a she shed and a he shed. I'm sorry, did I just say?
No, I like shisha.
No, dude, it's a he shed because people on YouTube, you can see it. So now we're it's gonna be on both things. I got my wife FaceTiming me, dude. I got a laptop in front of me. I got my notes, dude. This is just really official. So everybody in the podcast world, if you guys want to see what we look like, go to Talking Sobriety with Colin Morrison on
Yes,
YouTube.
sir.
And I'm pumped, Russ.
Yeah, that's rad, dude. I'm excited.
Dude, before it was like we were doing this, like in my garage. We were doing this at my old house.
We're doing it everywhere.
Everywhere, but now it's getting bigger, dude. I get so many people that, I forget, dude. That's what's cool about 2019, how like everybody can make a platform like this and talk about what they want to talk about, So it's really cool, dude. Can you do me a favor, Russ?
Yes, sir.
I'm just gonna carry on. Can you text my wife and tell her we're
Let's text
recording and this is the first one in the he shed and we're doing it on YouTube and
Got
like,
it.
it's a big deal. So another big thing while you text her that, Russ, thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
Talkingsobriety.com. I really want to build this thing into something. Me and Russ, we want to build this thing into something that can truly help people. So we got the website going, talkingsobriety.com. There you're going to be able to see the YouTube videos that I already have and what me and Russ are going to start doing together now. It's got a link to this podcast, and then it's got a link to, it's going to have a link, not yet, but to sober recovery, a rehab center phone number, for
Nice.
help. I want to put different AA meetings, whatever, like just so I could just steer everybody to Talking Sobriety and like they're just going to have
Everything at their fingertips.
Yeah, and the biggest thing is Talking Sobriety, the merch, bro.
Yeah.
I got my shirt, Sober AF. I got another one.
You got some good gear out there, dude.
It's sick. Making Sobriety Rad. But the Rad's like the Rad the BMX movie.
Yes.
It's sick. So, yeah, man. My goal with this, we're going to get your shirts on there too. That's going to be on there next week, but it's going to be talkingsobriety.com. I know this all is a very niche thing. It's for people that are newly in recovery and they're pumped to be sober, and it just gives them something to look forward to, or maybe you want to get sober. You're proud of that. I'm proud of that. So I'm going to make cool shirts to represent that, Russ. So what's up with you? Talk to me.
Yeah,
man.
just been hanging, helping you move. Dude, we had some good couple big events, dude.
Wait, can we talk about that? Because people
dude.
watching are, wait, I don't get it. Talk to me. That was pretty funny, dude.
Dude, that was rad. We just piled a bunch of shit in my lap, and I tried to roll up to your front door.
It was classic, and that was part of the deal, dude. So that was cool. Whoa, I got to figure out. This is all new, you guys, so just deal with it, all right? We got it. This is the first day. Hopefully we look back at this. Or where it's, but anyways, Russ, it's really gratifying, the messages I get about, people that are trying to get sober or they are sober.
The messages you forward me, like, how people say, the podcast helped them and all that. That's rad.
And dude, why not, bro? Like, I remember how, dude, it's so gnarly. And then this story we have today is like why I talk about it so much, because I'm very, I'm very invested in this, dude. I talk to strangers every day, and like, dude, I have this happy life, right? I'm like so pumped on sobriety. I talk about it every day. I got my life back. I'm like, things are happening, dude. I'm hustling, good hustle, I want to do good. I keep on wanting to do better and better in my life. And a lot of people that get sober and make sobriety number one, that's how it is. You just want to like see how high you can get. Not how high you can get. How like how much money you can make, how like fun you can have in life, all sober, dude. So oh man, let's just get into it. It's sad because like I'm all pumped on the podcast studio, but the story we have today is really, really heavy, man. So I'm just going to get into it. I had a guy named Ryan on Instagram hit me up, and we're going to refresh the story because it's been a while, but pretty much I think it was his second cousin or something. He's like, dude, this guy, my cousin, let's say, until I get the exact answer.
Right.
He's just battling addiction, dude. And, so we talked. I told him what I did. He knew what I did. So I just talked to him, and then I believe I got a hold of Ryan, and dude, I talked to him. I just told him how rad being sober was, that, anybody can do it. You can get your life back. And just, I tell everybody pretty much. Just a real story, dude. I'm not trying to sell nothing. I'm just telling people how I did it and that it can be done. So anyways, fast forward, dude, they call me and he's doing really good, dude.
That's awesome.
I guess he had 5 months of sobriety, doing really good. And then he went to California doing good. And I guess when he came back home, he slipped up. And anyways, I got a phone call, and it was Ryan, and they were saying, dude, his family member, I forgot who it was, we're going to hear about it, found Ryan overdosed on the side of their house, man. Like, dude, it crushed me, man. It completely crushed me because, and just...
That's hard.
It's crazy, dude, like I just said, dude, I'm so pumped. But, like, what's really going out there with addiction, like, people on drugs, and, like, this is the worst case scenario, dude. This is what happens, I've seen it. I've had best friends that do it, that have OD'd that way, and it's so scary because you're used to partying, you're used to like when you were an addict going so big, like, dude, because you get immune. I was taking like,
I don't think it's gonna happen,
dude.
Either.
I remember waking up taking full Xanny bars and going riding straight, going to Deegan's house and hitting ramps. All sorts of stupid shit. Crazy. But if I did that now after being sober for over 7 years, dude, I would be asleep for 3 days. So anyways, your body, it's not the same. So anyways, Ryan, I'm sure he did the same amount of drugs, heroin, that you're used to, and you just die because your body's not used to it. And that's what happens, man. And so we're going to get Carrie. I've been talking to their family quite a bit after this ordeal, and we thought it would be good to tell his story, and they're having a rough time, dude. Their parents are still dealing with it, man. They got a crazy story because I talked to one of their family members saying, we're going to wait, we're going to hear about it, but it's sad. This is what happens, dude. We are doing this so this doesn't happen, because it's so rad being sober. Dude, everything that happened in your life, dude, you're sober. You're like it. I was talking about you last night or at Ashley's birthday, how I've never seen you in a crappy mood ever. Yeah, laugh, but dude, like, you're goddamn inspiration, Russ, because like, you guys saw that. Anyways, Russ, it's a gnarly deal. Like, the situation you're in, and I just look at you totally different, dude. I've never seen you in a bad mood. You hit me up, you bug me, actually. You call me way too much, wanting to hang out, wanting to do stuff, and it's getting annoying, Russ, but it's just you're out there living. Dude, we're only alive once, man.
That's it. We live once.
And I've realized that, dude. It's crazy. The past 10 years feels like, dude, just a blink of an eye. It really does, dude. I'm turning 38. I know in 15 years, dude, I want to be like going on 60, 55, whatever. It's just crazy. We're on this earth such a short time, dude. So to be sober and really to take it in, like I just live every day to the fullest. And just to think how I was on drugs, dude, it's like, it's just such a waste of life, man. And it's just rad because your body's made to be ran on nothing, dude. I've realized, dude, 100%. That's when you feel the best. That's when you have a smile. That's when no weed, no nothing, dude. Like straight, just high on life. And, you know, I don't know, man. I guess I'm getting sidetracked. I love being sober, bro. And this is gonna be a heavy one, dude.
You sober.
Yeah. So let's get Carrie on the phone. I'm not gonna edit this out, so sorry, you guys. Sorry, podcast world, because now we're filming this. So
It's our first one.
Yeah.
Hey, Colin.
Hi, Carrie. So I have you on the phone with my co-host Russ.
Hi, Carrie.
Okay. Hi.
And
Let me just get my parents.
yeah.
1 sec. All right, yeah, we're just going to go inside. Okay. All right, so what's your co-host's name?
His name is Russ.
Hi, Russ.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. So we were just talking about why we are doing this. We do this podcast purely just to try and help people, that are living in addiction, and to show people how rad being sober is. And we brought up Ryan's story, how Ryan, his friend. Now, is Ryan the one that reached out to me on Instagram? You kind of explained this to me, but that's his second cousin, or?
Yeah, he's my dad's cousin. But they're both confusing. They're both Ryan Kenna, but they've always had this bond. They're closer in age than my dad and him are. Yeah. They've always been into the same things, like dirt bikes and whatnot. So he's always had a special place in his heart for him.
Yeah, for sure. So Ryan reached out to me, I remember, and this is when he was talking about Ryan, how he was dealing with addiction. And that's when I got a hold of Ryan and we talked, and then he got clean. Did he go to rehab, or what's the story with that? After I talked to him, he kind of turned it around. What's the whole story? Because I just kind of remember, it's hard because I talked to so many people, and it's just hard because this was a while ago. So you got to refresh me.
Okay. I'm here now.
Yeah.
Hi, Colin.
Hi, how are you? Is this Kathy?
Yes, it's Kathy. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Hi,
I'm
Colin.
doing good.
Ed.
Hi, Ed. How are you?
Hi, Colin. Okay.
Yeah, so I got my co-host Russ here too. He's on the phone.
How you guys doing?
Hi, good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
So yeah,
We're hanging in.
Yeah, I can't imagine what you guys are going through. But can you tell me, after we spoke with Ryan through Instagram, he got clean for a little bit. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did he go to rehab?
Went out to I was belonged to a club, like an addict club or something on the internet.
Okay.
And they hooked me up with this place. What was it called?
Windward Way.
Windward Way.
Okay.
That was
And
the last one.
yeah, that was his last rehab.
Oh,
But
yeah.
he's been to many rehabs.
Yeah, but
He's been to 3 or 4 rehabs here in New York, out on Long Island, and total failures.
Ugh.
how long has he been
he was
sober for? What's the longest stint of sobriety Ryan had?
I would say maybe no. I think he was maybe 4 months.
Wow.
Maybe.
Between there.
Yeah. And
So
that's 8 years.
Maybe 4 to 8 months max. At one time.
How are the rehabs
But it was-
out there?
In New York, they're a joke. They when you get sent to rehab from jail, they just send you into these cruddy places. And I used to always take him, and people were throwing drugs over the fence. I caught a kid on a bike that I turned him in, and they went out and told him to get lost or they would arrest him. He was trying to bring drugs in. And I know he used inside. He told me he did. He used in jail.
Yeah.
Part of the problem too was the issue with insurance and the government getting involved. You know, you hear all these newscasts and people talking about, oh, we just allowed, you know, how many billions of dollars to help the opioid addiction, you know, and, you know, every time he went in, you know, he had, you know, state insurance. It was garbage. You know, he would go in, he would be either detoxing or high. He would go into one of the Catholic Health System hospitals out here, and they would keep him for 3-4 days.
And then they thought he was cured. And
you know, not even that. They just didn't want to deal with it. I don't think they were, you know, they would just put him on the street. They wouldn't, you know, here's a piece of paper with a list of phone numbers. You know, call them and see which one takes your insurance. You know?
So how long was he in? Like the longest rehab? Are you serious? He was only in. He'd be in there for a couple days and they'd kick him out.
Well, that was detox in our hospitals around here.
Okay.
They won't they let you come in the hospital, but if you're not in active detox, you have to just sit there and wait till you're actively detoxing. And he could never handle
waiting that long.
And he would take off. And then it happened at every rehab he's been. Then they started to not let him in because he would walk out of them.
So what's the longest time he's ever been in rehab out there? Like the longest?
30 days.
So he did stay in a couple for the whole 30 days then, right?
Yeah, he stayed one.
And then
Stayed
what?
in one.
Okay. And then what happened? He'd be sober for like 4 months and then just hang out with the wrong crowd, or what happened in this time?
I don't know. I was in contact with some of the people through the computer, and they said that he always lifted them up. We're talking about on Long Island, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, he had no help here.
You know what? It's just so bad here. Just from one town to another. You know, they just find each other. It's so easy to find.
Right.
You know, like he used to. He would tell me. He goes, Dad. He goes, even if I wanted to be clean, it finds me. It seeks me out and finds me somehow. And you know, he just could never shake that demon.
But did he want it?
Yeah.
Did he want to get clean?
He cried. Yes, he cried to me. He would come in, lay in bed with me. I would say, "Are you high?" He'd say, "Yeah." And I would start going into it with him, and he said, "I really just want you to talk to me, Mom. I don't want to talk about drugs right now. Could we talk about anything else?" And he was so sad every time he did it. He would come and tell us. He hated it, but he just couldn't.
He couldn't kick it.
Couldn't kick it, yeah.
So was he active in it? Did he ever go to meetings or anything like that?
He never liked them. He thought, no, they don't work. Like, he always had a bad attitude about the meeting. Because people were there with drugs, too.
Yeah, but, you know, this happens a lot, and I see it all the time when, you know, there are some people that, dude, I don't know. It's tough. I get it. I see it all the time, and, like, the East Coast is really bad, but, you know, I just don't know if he was 100% ready. How old was he? It's sad because, I mean, I got sober when I was 21, when I was 29, you know, and there's other people that go to rehab so many times, you know. I mean, our good friend, who's this? Why am I drawing a blank? The skateboarder, 13 rehabs.
Wow.
Anyways, he went to rehab 13 times. Brandon Novak, and he was on my. I can't believe I forgot his name. He's like one of my good friends. But anyways, Brandon Novak, he went to rehab 13 times, and he wanted it the 13th time because drugs are gonna find me too. You know, it's just once you're like 100% ready, you know how to steer away those people. So how old was Ryan?
26.
Yeah,
7. I'm sorry.
It's so crazy. And drug and like heroin, it's just this different time now. Like the same people that are making like Suboxone, methadone. Did he ever go down that direction to try and get off the heroin? Was he ever on that stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, and those are the same people that made that stuff made the OxyContin, which turned into heroin. It's just it's so twisted. And like I know what you guys are talking about rehabs because I have so many people, but no rehabs will take their insurance, and the rehabs that take their insurance, it's so ghetto. It's like, it's so hard to get clean in that type of stuff. It's crazy. I mean, I don't even know.
That's right.
It's so,
It's the insurance
yeah.
so shitty.
Get into the Suboxone program, there was only a certain amount of doctors licensed to prescribe Suboxone on Long Island that, you know, when you walked in, if you didn't have $400 or $500 cash in your hand, they wouldn't take you as a patient.
Right.
You know, you couldn't get into the program.
Oh my God.
And then you had to,
And they would not take insurance.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And
I believe that has changed as of now. I think it's kind of changed. I think they are working towards, you know, hey, I read in the paper not too long ago how out here on Long Island that they were starting to the hospitals. They were going to let the hospitals do it in the emergency room and get them started at least.
So what happened after he went to California? He was sober for 5 months, and that's when I remember I was talking to him. I mean, doing really good, 5 months sober, and then why was he in California?
because we found out that he didn't have to have state insurance. He was still covered under Ed's insurance. So got right on the phone, found this guy on the internet who supposedly ran this, this website. I think he suckered me in. And within, I didn't think it was 6 hours, he was at the airport and gone.
Wow.
And they took him in, but somebody had broken into the safe there, so he lost his license, he lost his money, he lost his wallet. And he was getting arrested out there left and right because there were drugs everywhere.
Yeah.
What happened was he started out, we brought him out there, he went into the program, like after 30 days or 60 days, he went into a sober living house, and and that's when it went south after that. The first 30 days seemed to be okay. But then after that, they went into the sober house, and then, then it was just about, how much they can bill my insurance for drug tests, and, and then, then they closed the sober house. Because they were working out of like a foreclosed house or something. So they got thrown out of there. And then next thing you know, him and a bunch of people are on the streets,
I don't know anything. I don't know anything about this because I thought he was in there for 5 months and then he came back home and that's where he slipped back up. I don't know.
Yes, he did come back home.
No. But he stayed out in California
Yeah.
for, let's see, we brought him out there in like March, and then he went off the radar. We couldn't find him. We couldn't get any contact of him. Kathy had all of a sudden hit Facebook to see if anybody in that rehab had seen him. Then we got a hit, that he wasn't doing well. So I bought a plane ticket and I was ready to fly out there. This is like October of 17. So, and then by the time I got to the airport, I got a call from the house. Ryan had called the house saying, "Don't come out here. You're not going to find me. I'm doing fine, whatever." And then, so we were like, okay. So I came home, and then he went off the radar again. And again,
I can't believe that rehab. I can't believe that rehab let him go like that.
Yeah, they let him and a bunch of other people go right into the streets, and that was it.
And they blew me off on the telephone. They had no care. $136,000 the insurance paid them.
Jeez.
What was that rehab called?
Windward Way in Costa Mesa.
So we should tell people, do not go to, what's that called one more time?
Windward Way in
Okay.
Costa Mesa.
Costa Mesa. Yeah, let's stay out of that rehab. That's sketchy. I mean, there's a lot of rehabs that take your money, but there's a lot of great rehabs out there. So he left, and then when did he come back home, and when did it go south?
Yeah, so it wound up, we couldn't find him again, and then Kathy found somebody, a girl he went to rehab with on Facebook. She said, "Ryan is doing really bad. You better get out here because I don't think he's going to make it, much longer here. He's got himself in a lot of trouble, and he's not only doing heroin now he's doing meth."
Oh, jeez.
And, so it was just twofold. So, it was like the day after Christmas, I jumped on a plane. I went out to California, rented a car, and with Kathy and this girl, they kind of steered me to where he was. So So I picked him up that day. I found him in the parking lot of a Kmart. And, much to his surprise, I came walking up on him,
Wow.
And he was, he was messed up. It actually worked in my favor that he had just gotten high. So he was very calm. He got in the car with me. And then him and I just got on the highway and put the pedal to the metal and drove. I wound up in Barstow and got off the road, got a hotel, sat on him for like 3 or 4 days, trying to detox him. I had all sorts of over-the-counter methods trying to get him, where I could actually get him home back to New York. I couldn't put him on an airplane because he had no ID, and he had a couple of warrants in California for him, for possession and not showing up in court. So, I found an alternative. A buddy of mine told me about the train station over there in Barstow. There's an Amtrak that leaves late at night, so we wound up going there, and we went that route. So wound up taking a train ride across the country with a detoxing,
How
weird
bad
person.
was that? He's that.
So
he was hurting.
We can do a 2-hour talk about that story.
No, I didn't even know it was like that.
Incredible.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I thought it was totally different. I didn't know all this.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine. I know what it's like going through that. You feels like you want to die, and that's why so many people just go back to using drugs.
That was part of it. Yeah.
So
I think at one point he was.
So what happened when you got home?
How was that train ride home?
Got home and he was severely depressed, and we tried again to call a bunch of doctors and get him psychiatric help, and because this time he wasn't even
here too.
He
had the issues here also.
Oh, that's right.
They don't, like these rehabs and everything don't really reach out to why they're doing the drugs. Like somebody's doing drugs that much for a specific reason, whether it's something mental illness or whatever.
Yeah, and we kept asking him, what happened to you? Why would you keep doing this to your body? And he would just cry. He cried a lot.
So like when we got back to New York, we had an attorney. He was on probation and he left probation, so we had to take care of that. Our attorney said, Ryan, listen, what we're going to do, we're going to get you in a place for 28 days. I'll come on the 28th day. We'll take care of whatever, warrants or whatever they're out for you, and then, we'll work on your sobriety. So he kind of didn't like that idea.
Yeah.
So he basically tried to run again. So we wound up, turning him in. So he wound up getting caught. Detectives came to the hotel, picked him up, and brought him in. And, we set up, there's 2 facilities here on Long Island. One's minimum security, one's a little more than minimum security. So they got him into one, a minimum security one that had an actual program that he can partake in for the 4 months that he had to, do to satisfy the court for his probation that he ran out on. So
did he get sober for 5 months before he overdosed?
Yes.
And that's when he went into the rehab after the court. And was he in rehab for 4 months?
Yes.
Okay, out in New York, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then what happened when he got out? What happened then? Was he happy when he was 4 months sober?
He was so happy in jail. You wouldn't believe it.
Oh, he was in jail for 4 months.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
That was his rehab.
I've heard
and
so many.
Like I said, it was a minimal security.
Okay.
Okay.
Now I know. So he came out. I'm sure he was happy. He was off drugs, but I'm sure he wasn't truly happy because you're still in there. So he got out, and then what happened after that when he got out? How long did it last before?
Well, when he got out is when we tricked him, and we had to get him. We locked him. Child locked him in the car. Basically, he was trying to get out of the car, and we were driving all over the place. who's going to take him? And the lawyer finally got a hold of 2 detectives. We got him into a hotel. We said, let's just sit here and detox. And Ed went downstairs and waited for the police, and they came up and they took him out. And that's when he went to jail. They took him right in. And he just hated us, cursing at us. But then when we visited him in jail, he looked terrific. He gained all his weight back, his hair.
But like he said, he was in jail 4 months, so he was clean and sober when he got out. And when he got out, he was happy. He was doing well, but he still had that deep inner, feeling that he wanted to use.
He didn't have sobriety in him. He didn't have sobriety in him. That's what it is. That's what so many people out here, they're like, they hit me up all the time. They see me happy. They see me pumped because I have sobriety in my life, like going to meetings. I do other things for my sobriety, but I just don't think he was, because there's people that are sober, but they're truly not happy. Right. And I just don't think he was, he wasn't was he into sobriety? He didn't care about meetings. So it's hard. And then how long did he last? I mean, what happened after that? After he got out of jail, what happened?
Yeah, we got out of jail. That was like June of 2018. So, and then he came back to home. He lived at home, and he struggled with it. He would, he'd be okay, and then we would know he went out and used. And then, Kerry would be, because she was always up late at night. She would be sitting on the stoop with him and, talking about, getting him more help because
she found him overdosed.
He just
many
had
times.
had a hard time, like you said, dealing with sobriety. His sobriety was always short-lived.
Yeah.
He just, he said he didn't feel normal sober.
Yeah.
So now the drug had made him. That was his new normal, and and that he couldn't beat that. He couldn't twist it, and he wanted nothing to do with trying the Suboxone. He just didn't like that feeling. He just loved the feeling of getting high.
Yeah, it's sad. There's really nothing you can say. He just wasn't ready. And there's so many people. Oh my God! All the times I try to get sober, I wasn't ready till I was 29. I mean, I was in rehab.
Wow.
It's just when you're ready, you're ready. He just was not ready.
He told me how he was like almost embarrassed asking for help.
Yeah, that's how you are. You don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to.
I know. I was looking back at old Facebook messages, and it was with you. I would message him and be like, "Oh, reach out to that guy, Colin. Maybe he could help you with a job or just something." And he straight out told me, "I don't know. I'm embarrassed." I'm like, "They're here to help you. That's what he does."
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you're in addiction, that's the last thing you want to do is admit defeat, admit you want help. It's just that's how it is. It's scary, man. Like the time I admitted I needed help, I felt like I wasn't a man. I wasn't. I just felt it's the weirdest feeling ever, and I get that. That's why it's so hard to admit you need to go to rehab and you admit you need help, and that's why I do this podcast to show like. It's okay, man. Going to rehab was the best choice of my life, and I loved it. And the reason we're telling this story is to show people, like, this is what happens when you don't want to make sobriety number one. This is what happens. It's not a good story. Like, I'm not happy to do this one. I'm not happy to, like, talk to you guys right now about this, but people got to know a lot. The only people that listen to this podcast are people trying to get clean and sober. And so anyways, who found Ryan OD'd on the side of you? Was it your house? It's got to be. I feel so bad even bringing this up, but you guys, this is like people got it. I hope this story will save one person out there. So,
well, let me tell you one thing. Before he died, he took off. He would always sneak out of the house when we thought he was in his room, and he used, I guess, and he used too much, and he OD'd, and he fell to the ground on a highway, and a man found him. And they called the police. Oh, I'm sorry. He was in a car with a guy, and he said to the guy, take me to to somewhere because I'm going down. I feel like I'm going to, lose it. So he kicked him out of his car on the side of the highway. And then some nice man stopped. He thought he was dead, called the police. The police came, they kicked him, broke his phone, broke everything, picked him up, and he was okay. He was up. So they put him in the ambulance, and then they took him to the hospital for a lesson on how to use Narcan. He should carry Narcan. And that was it. They kicked him out of the hospital, and then I'll put Ed on because he's the one that found him. Not long after that.
After he got out of the hospital.
After that incident, like you said, he showed a lot of remorse. He tried his hardest to, get sobriety on his own, and then there was, he was a couple of months in after that incident. And he seemed like he really wanted it. Him and I we were talking, we were getting along well. He was, he was opening it up to me. My brother he lives in Manhattan, and he had just purchased a new car. So he called up Ryan and said, listen, I want you to have my old car, so, I want you and your dad come in to the city, and, pick up the car. And then you'll have something, and then you can maybe go, get your license back and get your life in order, So he was all pumped up for that, all happy. Him and I went into the city. We met with my brother, my niece, and we had dinner and everything. We talked, and we came home that night. The very next day, him and I were watching TV together, and we loved watching that the show Forged in Fire, where they make the knives. Because he was like a welder by trade. He loved that thing. He loved that stuff. So, I had dozed off on the couch, and I got up. I didn't see him sitting next to me, and then I said, all right. I grabbed the dog, and I went to go outside, and I looked over to the side of the house, and I saw the car door open, and I just knew it. And I ran over there, and there he was, cold and gray. Oh. So I laid him down, and I worked on him as hard as I could. My wife got my neighbor, who was also an EMT. We worked on him till the police and fire department came, and, they worked on him all the way to the hospital, and then they just, they called it when they got him to the hospital. And,
that's heavy.
It's just, we just can't grasp, why and how, and, and then the guilt comes in, how did I do it? Why did I fall asleep? Why did I stay awake? Maybe you wouldn't have done it, and it's like, it just hurts so bad.
I truly, I'm so sorry for your loss, and that crushed me. When I found out the news, because I felt like maybe I could have done something different. Talking to him, because I get messages like Ryan. I literally get 50 a day, and I write back to everybody. And sometimes I just listen to my podcast, because that's why I do this. To get on, I don't know what I'm talking about really, maybe my story will help, but that's why I get on so many other people on this, to maybe somebody else that comes on here will say something. Maybe it could have helped Ryan more. It's not you guys' fault, it's just drug addiction, and he was not ready, I went to the ghettoest rehab ever. Like, so many people left that rehab and went out and used drugs. But for me, I was just over it. I was over going through ups and downs. I was just like Ryan. I get sober a little bit. I was on drugs for like 15 years straight every single day, and I was ready at 29 because I lost everything. And like, I had great parents like you guys, like, I was so loved. It's sad. I just don't think he was ready. And I mean, this happens every minute of the day in America.
Right.
You guys can't feel bad. You guys have to, move on. I mean, how could I? That's not, I guess, not the right thing. But it's not you guys' fault. You can't let that affect you guys. It wasn't your fault. It's just, I hate addiction so much. That's why we do this. And hopefully somebody out there will.
We're with you on that.
Yeah,
we're definitely with you on that. And if there is people out there listening to the story, there's no happy ending. I mean, it's over, it's done, and he's gone. But what he left behind, is a trail of of just tragedy, and he left a sister and a brother and and he's got a little boy he left behind, and it's just and now we're here suffering and suffering and suffering. The pain goes on, and the pain's going to go on forever. I can't see not ever having that feeling of loss for him.
Yeah.
Always a heartbreak.
So I don't know if they realize that, and if anybody does, if they do listen and they do realize that, it's it's more than damaging yourself, what you leave behind.
No. After talking to you,
they should, to work hard to get into sobriety. It would be is a better route to go.
Yeah. After talking to you guys, and I hear this all the time when I talk to all these different people every day, that I understand that it's not just the person getting high. I mean,
Affects everyone.
Everybody around that person is affected, and everybody, it's so sad. It's so crazy. Everything I did to my family, everything Ryan did to you, it's a horrible thing. And if we could be just a very little sliver of just trying to do something, we don't do this podcast for sponsors or anything. I just do it because I'm pumped on my sobriety. I got my life back, and I just want to tell people that it can be done, and this is what happens. This is like what happens if you do drugs. You are going to die. You are going to go to jail, or it's just a matter of time. And I'm so sorry. How have you guys been since then? I heard a lot of crazy things has happened in your life today. I mean, was that today? You retired?
Yesterday evening we lost my sister-in-law to a battle of. She had stage 4 lung cancer, and so she just passed, So it's been a rough year for us,
A lot of grief.
A lot of grief, and he. I don't know if Ryan. I know he asked you if you sent some pictures. Did you? I don't know if you looked at the pictures.
Yeah, I got the pictures, and
and I thought actually I was. I don't know if he sent the one in the end where actually when him and all his friends are standing around the grave. I mean, that's the one that will hit people the most. Right. All his friends standing arm in arm, and his brother, over his casket in the grave. That is the end. That is the ultimate finish of if you keep doing drugs. That's what's going to happen to you. That's where you're going to be. You're going to be in the ground. And there's no disputing that. Ryan has an older brother who had a struggle also, but through his meetings, he grasped the meetings and he took the medication and he turned his life around, and is currently has a great job as an electrician, and and he's doing well, so, and it hurts him a lot to see that with the loss of his brother that he couldn't turn his life around,
it can be done. It can be turned around.
Yep. That's Christopher, my oldest son.
Oh, Christopher, you're the one. So how long have you been sober for?
Sober? I mean, I still drink. I still, do other things. But
wait, who is the one who? No. Who is the brother that you're talking about? That you got off heroin. How long have you been off heroin for?
16. Since 2016.
Oh wow, dude, that's huge, man. Congrats. I can't.
Yeah, I got a great opportunity in front of me. One day I just woke up and said I didn't want to do it anymore. I went to a detox, and then from the detox I started going to meetings, and it was awkward at first. It really was, but I just went up to everybody and introduced myself, and it wound up working very well for me.
Yeah, and you wanted it. And can you admit that Ryan best? Ryan wasn't ready, correct?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's sad, you know. We're just like, I don't know if you heard the first part. Brandon Novak, he went to rehab 13 times, and like, for him to even make it to the 13th time is crazy, you know. I had 3 DUIs. I should have killed a lot of people or killed myself, but I got so lucky that when I ended up in rehab, it just worked once, you know, and I just got lucky. That's the only reason I'm here right now. It was so much luck involved. I should have died many times, and all my friends, I've had a buddy that OD'd in my truck. Like, it's just around. I just, you know, I like to bring up the happy part of like, you can get your life back, but I'm very aware that I hear people just dying every day. And this is, like I said, it's hard for me to even like talk and do this one, but I just wanted to get you guys on. Tell Ryan's story. If Ryan's story can help one person out there, you know, if it could help one person out there, then man,
we did our job.
That's all we want.
Yeah,
man.
reach out and get help. That's important, you know.
You can do it. You can turn your life around, and everything can be, you know, the total opposite. You don't have to be in that hole for the rest of your life.
Yeah. How are the rehabs out there? I mean, are there any good rehabs? Do you see anything changing out there, or like, what do you guys want to see out there? What could be done? I mean, I don't hear enough people kind of doing things. You just hear how bad the epidemic is. I know there's, you know, I deal with a couple people that are really working on changing this epidemic, but what do you guys see the biggest problem is out in the East Coast? I mean, I'm in California. I hear stories about
it's just people are benefiting off of it.
Yeah.
Like heavily with money as doctors, and they're basically just, you need money. You need, you know, hundreds and hundreds of dollars to get help out here. They don't take a lot of insurance. I mean, I feel like it should be something that goes through the state maybe, and, you know, they can have facilities that are set aside to help people.
Yeah,
That doesn't always have to be about money, because, you know, the people that don't have anything, they can't get help and they wind up dying.
I mean, I don't get it. You know, like all these rehabs that are 30 grand, like how do drug addicts have that money to go there? I never understood that.
It's not. It's their parents. It's their grandparents.
Yeah,
it's
you're
other
right.
people that are suffering.
Dude, it's crazy. Isn't that crazy? Like, dude, I don't understand it. I just, it is criminal. You're right. It's such a crooked system. Like I said, the same people that made OxyContin are the people that made the cure, which is Suboxone. You know, it's the same. Yeah. It's the most craziest thing ever. And yeah, you're right. There's not enough.
They know what it does, and they're still pushing it out there. You know.
Exactly. It's sad. Man, you know,
it starts at the top, you know, through law enforcement all the way down. It's just, they just don't enforce it enough. Too much of the stuff gets on the streets, you know, before anything happens. You know, it's almost like they wait for it to hit the streets to be sold so they can go in and confiscate whatever it is. They don't want to confiscate drugs. They want to confiscate money because they get to keep the money. So they get gain from it. So, yes. So,
not helping, they're gaining.
Right.
Well,
and like out here, like right now, the programs, all of a sudden they come out with these big programs. Oh, we're gonna dump, $5 million into the opioid system and to help drug addicts. And you know what they did? They armed like every patrolman with Narcan. That's it. You know, like, okay, this helps. All right. They gave every patrol car Narcan and some other, device to help, if they come across an overdose drug addict. Don't sink the money into maybe a new facility that has 80 beds where you can bring people into and then, get doctors and do, make a, facility. The only facilities they're putting up out here are private facilities, and they're a fortune, and they only take if you have good insurance.
Right.
Exactly.
Then you're entitled to good care. So if you have the guy who makes a real lot of money, you can get good care. You can get your kid good care.
Yeah,
the blue collar grunts like ourselves, have a hard time, funding this.
No, there's no way
to do everything that's through the state.
Yeah, there's no way I could afford a gnarly rehab. I found one for it was $1,500. It worked, but yeah, it's sad. Something has to change. I don't, I know what, just like you guys know what, but I mean, it's gotta start from the top. I want to say thank you guys for coming on this rehab. You guys know I'm here for anything. If you guys ever need anything, I know this was a hard one. It had to be really hard for you guys. It's not a fun one for me, but this is what happens in addiction. If you really don't want to get sober, get your life back, this is what happens. And once you're dead, you're dead. Like all the people that it affected. I mean, man, Ryan had a 6-year-old son left behind. I can't imagine, and everything you guys are going through. I'm so sorry. And if there's anything we can do or I can do, I hope this story is going to help one person out there. Just help somebody to really shed light on this.
I hope so too.
No, yeah, I
hope so too.
We're thinking of going to see if we could. Somebody asked us to speak at a school in their health class, and just tell the kids our story and what could happen.
Right. I think that's
Ryan.
Awesome.
Oh, they were.
No, it's just talking about.
Oh, because I missed that. Ryan started doing pot in was that in 8th grade?
Yeah.
I think it's junior high, high school, maybe.
Junior high, yeah.
That's when they start.
Yeah.
But I never thought it would lead to this. Never.
Oh, it always does. Weed is a gateway drug. If you like the feeling of getting high, you're going to always experiment. But, I mean, we can go on forever. I just wanted to tell you guys a story. If there's anything, like I said, I can do, I'm going to reach out to you guys and stay in touch. But just thank you for coming on here. I know it was a tough one, but I hope maybe this is going to help somebody out there. So just thank you guys very much. And,
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for everything you do. And,
Yeah, thank you for even calling us. That's
Yeah, keep
really
sending
good.
your message out there, and hopefully somebody.
Listen,
we do reach somebody tonight. I hope and pray that's what's happened. So, all right. Thank you very much, Colin.
thank you guys all. I'll stay in touch, all right? Thank you guys.
all right, bye-bye.
All right, bye.
All right. It's depressing, man. It's sad.
Crazy one.
Yeah, it's sad. So you guys, that's, this is what happens. This isn't a fun podcast. I'm not even in a good mood, but this is what happens. I had my friend overdose in the back of my truck. I don't know if I'm sure I told that story. I don't want to get into it right now, but that's just like, once you're dead, you're dead. And like how I just purchased my new house, how like just my life is so good. And like, no matter what, right out of rehab, when I was printing shirts, like a month out of rehab, I was so pumped, dude. I was just pumped that I didn't have to wake up and snort a Roxy, go to the store to go get tinfoil to smoke black tar heroin just to get through my everyday life. Like Ryan, I know what he's going through. I mean, it's just once heroin has the grips of you, there's no way out. You have to you plan your day out. You plan your weeks out. All right, I got enough heroin to last me today and tomorrow, and then I need to go trade my brand new helmet to go get another gram of heroin, which is it's a twisted cycle. You don't want to admit defeat. You don't want to go up to your family members and be like, dude, I'm on drugs. I need to get help. There's no way. It was the last thing I was going to do. I know what Ryan went through. It's sad. It's horrific. Ryan's not here anymore. He left his 6-year-old son, dude, and his parents. I mean, it's sad. I'm so lucky to be alive. I'm so honored to be doing this podcast. I'm pumped you're my co-host. I'm pumped I got this. And it's only because I got sober. I got lucky, Russ. I got lucky, dude. The last time.
Hey, it worked.
I got it, dude. Last time I got to do what I'm going to say it. I'm like fired up right now, dude. I passed out, huffing dust off because I couldn't get black tar heroin, dude. Right. That was my drug. But I ran out. I started from house, apartment, condo. I got all the way down to I was living at this house and I had nothing in my room, traded everything. I got into dust off for 2 months. I huffed dust off till I passed out in my truck in the valley. It's such a long story, but I sideswiped 7 cars. No joke. It was such a crazy deal. I ended up in rehab after that and I got sober and I'm so lucky. I went to rehab and I just listened to what they said, Russ. That's all I did. I think
the main thing is though is that you wanted to become sober.
Yeah, I know. I did, but this is I didn't really want to. I had no choice. So it's a little different than that. I had no other choice. I had nothing else. I didn't want to go to rehab. My dad's like, dude, let's go to rehab. And I had nothing else. I was living at my dad's house at age 29. After having this rad life, I was back at my dad's house, dude. Right. So there's no other option. My dad took me and I realized, dude, oh my God, I could.
You still wanted it because if you didn't want it, you wouldn't be sober today. So.
Yeah, but after I like I said, I had no choice, dude. And I had to go there. I didn't want it. This is something have you ever? I think it's hard for people that aren't addicts, dude.
No, you're right.
No, it is. It's hard. If you've never been addicted to something, you don't know what I'm talking about right now.
No, you're right, but
You're on this podcast because you are motivated. Look at you, Russ. You are so pumped. You know, you helped me in my life. I know you helped so many people by like, dude, if you can do it, if I can do it, that's why we're doing this, bro. But when it comes to drug addiction, it is the most effed up thing ever, Russ.
it is.
It's so gnarly, dude. Oh my God. Every night I just think about that shit. Like, dude,
Look
I
how
don't
far
need.
you've come.
But dude, people like, hey, dude, so proud of you. Like, we're nothing big. I just got sober and I have a little platform, so let's talk about it, dude. I see a lot of people. Some people like, dude, you talk about sobriety so much, but when it's Ryan's story, and he's dead, and he left his 6-year-old son behind, and his parents are devastated. I can't imagine, like, dude. I don't know. It's heavy, man. It's sad. I hate drugs. I hate drug addiction, and I am gonna do this. Me and Russ are gonna do this, and we are gonna tell stories. We're gonna just talk about how rad being sober is. That this guy in a wheelchair, nothing slows him down, dude. So look at everybody that's addicted to drugs or on, alcoholics, dude. We can go to rehab and we could literally change our life around. And Russ, you don't have the chance to go to rehab tomorrow for 30 days and come out and go run.
No, but I got a chance to have a good attitude.
It's in your head, bro, and it's all in your head.
It is.
If Ryan thought different, like I want to be sober, he would have went to rehab and it would have stuck. He just wasn't ready in it all. It's just, dude, but I get it because I was where Ryan was at. I got lucky. So I don't know. I'm not even like a professional. We need to get Ron on next week, or Greg Hanley. We need to get somebody on, and I want to bring this story up and like. I don't know, Russ. This was it was good. It was cool. Like it started cool. We're in a podcast, but then it's like you hear Ryan's story, and I just hate drugs. And you guys, if you're listening to this, just please try and go to rehab. Call the rehab I went to was $1,500. Hit up Sober Recovery. There's so many rehabs out there. Just try. And yeah, man, it can be done, Russ.
Yes, it can.
Oh my God, dude. It's like. The lie's over. If people on YouTube are going to see that I have an app on my phone for Trust Russ. Are you good, Russ? Do you have one? Dude, if you don't have one the first day home.
You got a good one.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you don't have one, oh my God, this is so unprofessional. This was a heavy one. I don't like doing podcasts like this.
GoPro's not even recording.
No way, dude. Well, whatever. All right, whatever, dude. I don't care. This is about the podcast.
Silence, Earthling!
Just go for it, Russ, dude.
Yeah, there we go.
This is not a good one. Go.
Life's about kicking ass, not kissing ass.
Life's about kicking ass. Yeah.
It is.
I get it. My head's somewhere else, but yeah, I get it. I like it.
That's it.
It's like an 8 out of 10. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Later, guys.
Later.
Have drugs or alcohol taken you away from being the parent you once were? Have you stopped spending the quality time with your children that they deserve? They only get one childhood, and you're missing it. Your kids are waiting for you. Pick up the phone and call Sober Recovery today at 866-290-1166. Freedom awaits.